What's good, people? It's Jill Entertainment Network, and I'm back for another video. I recently just got out of YouTube jail. They banned me for 7 days for some bullshit, but I'm out now, so I'm back at it. Today I'm going to be covering not a shooting location exactly, but more of a kind of situation. I did make already a video on Rod K last year, but there's like been more information that's been coming out about the whole thing, so I thought it would be good to do a little recap or update about what's been going on. Now, these are probably I'd say the two most confusing hits in the whole Jax gang war, because there's so much like conflicting information and different theories and different all sorts of shit going on. But what we do know for certain is that on November 19th, Spaz2x was killed, and on November 20th, Rod K was killed. Both of them died from gunshot wounds on the north side. That's all we really know for certain. Now, basically, Spaz2x, it's a little more clear what happened. Or it's not as confusing as the Rod K situation. So on November 19th, Spaz2x from 6 Block was killed in 6 Block. Basically, 6 Block's home turf right there, he was killed. And then the next day, Rod K was killed. Now, where Rod K gets tricky is because people say that Rod K, there's two different like theories and shit going on. One of them, people keep saying Rod K was trying to spin for Spaz or some shit like that. Like he was trying to basically go on a drill to get back for Spaz, and that's when he was killed. And then the other theory, which was proposed by some guy who claims to be Rod K's brother, but it's still unconfirmed. He said that Rod K was actually killed not around here on the north, in the 45th area, but he was actually killed up here on, I think it was Dunn's Avenue. I don't know where Dunn's is. It's like somewhere up here, I think. Yeah, up here, somewhere in Dunn's. And he was like, he was blind. He was gonna go buy blunts or some shit, and he got shot up there. And I still don't know exactly, like, for sure, like, which theory is even, like, the true one, or even which location Rod K actually died in. I still don't even know that, because in all the articles talking about this shit, they just say, a man in his 20s, or some shit like that. So it's like, we don't, like, which one? Like, you know what I mean? Like, which man in his 20s? And this is the north side. There's all sorts of men in their 20s getting killed up here. So I'm like, I don't even know which one's for sure, but it seems that recently there's been more consensus about Rod K dying in Hilltop. That seems like that's the main thing, is getting a little more weight that Spaz and Rod K both died in Hilltop. That Rod K wasn't killed up here or some shit like that. Now, I don't really know how to structure this, so I guess I'll just kind of relay the information, and it might be kind of out of order or jumbled, or I don't know, but bear with me because this whole thing is so confusing. But basically, what's been coming out now is they're saying that 1200 was actually involved in both of these hits. Spaz, like, most people thought 1200 did this from the start, but Rod K, that was a bit more up for debate, I guess, because there was a lot of conflicting information and that sort of thing. 1200 is weird, because 1200, they've claimed the Spaz hit, but then they've also said that they've also not claimed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, one time, like, you know what I mean? Like, Greenlight and all those guys, they always self-snitch about that, but then on an IG Live, I think it was like Spins, said he was trying to make it seem like Rod K wasn't their work, which maybe it's like true that he wasn't their work, or he's just trying to like take the heat away or like spread false information to keep his guys from getting arrested by like making it seem like they didn't have anything to do with it. But it seems like now the more people are starting to think that 1200 didn't just do Spaz, they also did Rod K, or were involved with Rod K. So what's basically they're saying is that okay, so, I mean, this isn't even snitching, but basically, like, what they were saying was that Greenlight from 1200 was the one who killed Spaz. That was kind of what the general consensus was before, but now it's actually, people are starting to think that he wasn't actually the one who killed Spaz. Greenlight's innocent of that, and it was actually some other guys from 1200, some older guys who are a lot more low-key and are more kind of from that, like, 187 generation, and the interesting thing is that they're saying that some of these guys actually lived in 6 Block. So, I mean, I'll say it again. They're saying that 1200 members, some guys from 1200, lived in 6 Block, which, I mean, I guess it's possible, but, like, that just seems a bit, like, kind of far-fetched to me, but it's possible. That's just what they're saying. They're saying that a couple guys from 1200 actually lived in 6 Block and would sneak people from 1200 in there to, I guess, drill or some shit like that. Like, basically just opening the back door and shit. On some Trojan Horse type shit. And what they're saying was that these guys brought in an older member from 1200, and that guy ended up killing Spaz, shooting him in the back of the head. in Hilltop, and then they're saying that after that there was like a situation where they took Spazz's gun or some shit, and then Rod K heard about this, and then he went to go slide on these guys, the 1,200 members living in 6 block, and it basically backfired, and there was a shootout. I believe it was like probably around here in the front area. I think this is where they're saying it happened. It was like in the kind of front entrance or parking lot of Hilltop. There was a shootout. Rod K ended up dying, and then I believe they drove away. And then, as a lot of people know, Rod K wasn't found like dead here, in like on the ground or some shit. He was found in a car, and that was that car was parked. I'm not sure exactly where, but it was somewhere around here. It was near Hilltop. It was parked in a street somewhere, and they found Rod K with a bunch of bullet holes in there. I think they found him like 2 days after he died or some crazy shit like that. So now they're saying that possibly Rod K was he was either hit by the 1,200 members in the shootout, or he was accidentally killed by his own guys shooting from behind him, like on an accident. Like in the shootout, he got hit in the crossfire. He got hit by his own guys, and then basically to avoid getting charged with the murder, because as you know, there's like that stupid law in Florida where if you're like committing a felony and the guy you're committing a felony with dies, you're charged with his murder, which is fucking stupid. Apparently to like avoid that, the guys he was with just like abandoned him and left him his corpse like in a car somewhere, which I guess kind of explains the whole like backdoor rumor or whatever, that Rod K was backdoored. I wouldn't really consider that a backdoor though. That's like an accident. That's not a backdoor. That's just an accident. But yeah, so that's kind of what the new like kind of theory is. But still, it's like these cases are still open. Well, like JSO is probably never gonna solve this shit, so we're probably never gonna know for certain. But it seems that recently more people are starting to think that Rod K was killed in Hilltop. He wasn't killed on Dunn's or just somewhere else, or some shit. And it makes a bit more sense. It makes a bit more sense because it's like if he was trying to avenge Spaz, right? If 1,200 killed Spaz, why is he sliding up here on the north side? Why wouldn't he be out east trying to spin? But it makes sense if there was 1,200 members in Hilltop, that it would make sense he'd go there to find who kills Spaz and kill them. So yeah, I mean that seems to line up, but still the idea of 1,200 members living in 6 block, that whole thing is just really weird to me. Like that like I don't even know. Like I guess it's possible. It's technically possible, but it just seems so crazy to me that there would be 1,200 members living in 6 block. Like wouldn't you think some of the guys would like shoot them or some shit? I mean, you're literally living on your ops block. Like that's like think about that. That's the equivalent of Queso living like here or some shit. That's the equivalent. Okay, that's the equivalent of La Craca living in fucking on Melvin Park. You know what I mean? That's the equivalent of that. So it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like it just seems a bit kind of like weird, but I guess it's possible. I mean Hilltop's a big place. It's a big apartment complex. It doesn't seem too far-fetched, I guess, that they'd have like an apartment there or something. But yeah, that's basically just the general consensus. It's still not 100% sure. We'll probably never know for sure because JSO doesn't seem like they want to solve anything, and it's already been it's going on 4 years now. So it's up in the air whether these ever get solved. They probably won't, unless there's like some giant RICO or something. But even then, they might not solve them because this whole thing is just really confusing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, last thing I forgot to say was that there was actually a 6 block member in my comment section on like some other video or some shit on my second channel. He actually said that, well, he was basically saying that Greenlight didn't kill Spaz, for what it's worth. He was saying Greenlight didn't kill Spaz. And, a lot of people would say, oh, that's damning evidence. That proves he didn't kill Spaz. You know what I mean? That proves that blah, 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 whatever they want it to mean. But, like, gang members' testimony is not always 100% accurate. I mean, K Shorty was running around saying that Spaz was killed by a crackhead, which is very unlikely. That it was just some random druggie who just killed him, because these guys lie. That's the thing. People think, like, just because they say something, it's automatically true. Like, these guys lie, They don't want to make it seem like they're losing. They don't want to give their ops credit all the time. They might just lie or some shit. I mean, look at Mookie. Like, YNR Mookie was false claiming that ace hit for years. You know what I mean? So it's not like these guys, everything they say is the word of law. You got to take these guys' testimony and their opinions just like any other person's testimony and opinions. It's not like just because they're from the city, they know what's going on, that it's absolutely true. Not always, because these guys lie too. So yeah, just for what it's worth, I do want to say that yeah, there was a 6 block member who did comment that. He said green light didn't kill Spaz. But yeah, that's pretty much it. RP, Spaz2x and Rod K. Let me know what video you want to see next, and I'm out of here.